For some WWE fans, the Pat McAfee reveal was annoying, not only because it was loud and shocking recently on WWE television, but also because it happened at the exact time when a WrestleMania feud needed to be clearer, simpler, and simply more intense. When McAfee, the popular sports personality and ESPN host, showed up on SmackDown on April 3rd and said he was the voice behind the villainous Randy Orton's phone calls, and the story about the heroic Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton looked like it was now coming from a one-dimensional villainous surprise. He then quickly changed the subject to a lecture about how WWE as a whole had lost its edge and Cody and others were to blame. The reaction was mixed at best. Even critics who liked the energetic Cody response to all of this, even some supporters of McAfee himself, still thought the whole thing may have made the WrestleMania main event program look quite a bit off, making the champion seem like he was fighting the booking of it all himself and simply not just his opponent. At least that's the impression some people are taking. There's a lot more reportedly going on behind the scenes. We'll catch you up and speculate on all of it. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. What do you think of this entire scenario with Pat McAfee being injected into a supporting role for Randy Orton against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? We'll dive deep into what's going on. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn your notifications on for more videos just like this. During this entire big revelation promo on SmackDown, Pat McAfee criticized the current WWE scene and stated that the current WWE superstars are unable to sell tickets for events. On the very next Monday Night Raw in Houston, Texas, World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk cut a scathing promo which lit a fire for his WrestleMania match against Roman Reigns, but it also took a sharp and biting addition into what he called McAfee's MAGA fee role and said that McAfee should speak to his agent about lowering ticket prices for WrestleMania. Either that's a hint of an internal issue or it was all a meta-narrative by WWE. That is why fans have latched on to the idea that TKO, the parent company of WWE, is not merely involved but actively reshaping the company into something that is more corporate and less wrestling first, so WWE could simply be playing into this speculation themselves with storylines. The reporting around the entire angle says that McAfee's insertion was not Triple H and his creative team's call. Multiple outlets pointing to Ari Emanuel and TKO management as the force behind it, with the stated goal of boosting interests and creating corporate synergy. McAfee airs his weekday sports talk show on ESPN. ESPN's app also streams WWE premium live events in the United States. McAfee is reportedly represented by Emanuel in his entertainment pursuits beyond ESPN, which includes a role in the upcoming Tulsa King TV series. That detail matters because it turns a creative complaint maybe into a larger business issue. Fans are not just mad at a flawed storyline beat, they could really have contention with that feeling that a billion-dollar parent company is steering a wrestling narrative in ways that maybe prioritize media optics over wrestling match storyline logic. Yeah, the biggest reason is the situation became such a flashpoint that Cody Rhodes had a plausible straight path to WrestleMania with a true challenger in Randy Orton, and the angle unnecessarily may have complicated it. Instead of letting a top babyface and a legendary challenging heel carry the tension, the story introduced another loud, personable voice telling the audience what to consider rather than regarding the product itself. Once a feud starts winking at the audience too strongly, it stops feeling like a fight and starts feeling like a boardroom memo performed in wrestling boots and trunks. Playing into that was Cody's own response that made the situation feel even more real and conflicting. Reports said that his promo, Cody's promo on April 3rd, may not have been in the internal rundown of the broadcast of SmackDown and may have been a genuine reaction to McAfee's insertion, with some observers believing he was, quote, shooting on TKO and people above the creative team. Yeah, that is speculation. If that is accurate, the segment was not just a storyline reply, it was a talent-driven protest hidden within a wrestling show. And that is the kind of detail that fans read as evidence of a deeper problem, because it suggests that people on screen are trying to salvage an angle that the audience already senses could be compromised or tainted in some way. Whether one thinks Cody was simply improvising and really trying to fire up fans, or simply executing a planned segment, the mere possibility that he was reacting to a real frustration lends the whole thing to a jagged, unscripted energy. It gets people talking, but is it getting people talking in the right way? From there, the conspiracy theories practically write themselves, but they're pretty wild, and let's just remember these are theories. If TKO can override WWE's creative path to WrestleMania at this level, fans naturally start talking as to whether or not the incident is a one-off or a modern pattern that's growing. Some commentary has gone so far as to frame the situation as TKO intentionally sabotaging Cody Rhodes, which wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, especially after the run of maybe some over-corporate feeling beats around the championship picture. That theory is not proven, and it is a fan interpretation which may have its own biases connected to it. But it persists because the booking has repeatedly invited that conversation. When the finish line feels like it's less of a wrestling climax and more of a wild business presentation with pyrotechnics, the audience stops analyzing the match and starts looking at the power structure behind it. That section is also where Triple H and his creative team get pulled into the conversation, even though the available reporting does not support the idea that he is being removed. Yeah, because we're not saying that he is. Officially, WWE still has him as the chief content officer overseeing creative, writing, talent relations, live events, talent development, and creative services. That is a major amount of authority, and the current product does not indicate that he is being pushed out. What the reporting does suggest is something a little bit more subtle and maybe even more realistic. His creative lane can still be overridden by people who own the lane above him. In other words, the issue may be Triple H's creative control is no longer absolute, and rather than Triple H is losing his job, which is not happening, by the way. That tension becomes more intriguing when you look at the broader TKO structure. Ari Emanuel is the company's executive chairman and CEO, and Dwayne Johnson, better known to us mortals as The Rock, sits on the same TKO board. While the situation doesn't necessarily indicate a covert alliance or internal conflict, it does shed light on why fans are quick to draw connections between business leadership, celebrity influence, and the trajectory of WWE storytelling. So is there a real war for control between Triple H, his creative team, and superstars like Cody Rhodes on one side, and Ari Emanuel and The Rock on the other? There's no verified evidence of some grand civil war. What exists is something more messier, more complicated, and maybe even more believable. A creative environment where wrestling logic, corporate strategy, celebrity branding, and constant fan backlash are all something that collide at the same time, and that may be just a part of the process in general. That collision is why McAfee's angle may have also backfired so badly, and it caused the audience to perceive the underlying tension. It transformed what should have been a straightforward WrestleMania main event build into a contentious discussion about the true direction of the storyline, and once fans start asking who booked the story instead of who will win the match, the illusion may have already been cracked. The larger fear behind these events extends beyond the mishandling of a single storyline. It is WrestleMania itself becoming a vulnerable style decision-making thing that values noise maybe over structure. Fans do not mind the spectacle, they expect it. WWE was built on the spectacle. What they resent is spectacle without payoff, celebrity without purpose, big moments that weaken the very stars that are meant to elevate those moments.